we do know that when farmers are thinking about how they might engage in either a productivity initiative or a sustainability initiative that is considered eligible under the methodologies, they might be doing it for the purposes of either generating credits, which they intend to divest themselves of, or they might be doing it for the purposes of being able to demonstrate their own sustainability or transition credentials. I might start with, can you just talk about the difference between insetting carbon and offsetting carbon? And then actually lead on to how we might actually be able to support farmers who are specifically thinking about generating credits and potentially the pre-purchase of credits.
Sure, certainly can do. So on the point of insetting versus offsetting, so I'll start with offsetting, probably more broadly known. It's where you take a measurement of all the emissions of your business or your enterprise or your organization. And once that's calculated in any given year, if you want to offset those emissions, you do so through buying a carbon certificate in Australia. That can be an Australian Carbon Credit Unit, an ACCU, and surrender that with the regulator. And then you can be, in the Australian context, certified under something called the Climate Active Standard. That's something that is administered by the government, and that can certify you as carbon neutral for that given reporting period. So you're taking a measurement of your emissions, you're calculating that tonnage, you're buying the requisite number of carbon units to cover that, and you're surrendering them, you're cancelling those. That's offsetting. Insetting is where you are creating those certificates yourself, and you're deciding to use those certificates against your overall emissions profile of your business. So it is a bit of a nuance. So instead of you procuring them for somewhere else, you're making them yourself. Now, what you're essentially doing there is you're moving away from a model where maybe you'd just be measuring the overall output of your business in an emissions sense. Perhaps you'd be close to net neutral or carbon neutral. Maybe you'd fall short. Maybe you're over the other edge and you're actually sequestering more carbon than you're emitting. But in any case, you're deciding to register it under a government scheme, get accredited with the certificates, be credited with those, and then you've got flexibility on how to use them. And so that's often the draw card that we're seeing in a commercial sense when clients are choosing to inset. What they're doing is they're getting accredited under a standard, they're receiving certificates, and often they decide to do so because it gives them flexibility. If they meet certain targets or their goals change, then they can sell those certificates, monetize them over time. Or if they decide they want to, for instance, launch a carbon neutral product, a specific supply line, then they can do that with the certificates that they've created, and they've got an inset product. So hopefully that gives a good overview of that distinction.